In this video, I want to talk about an unconventional way of replacing your HVAC system and effectively saving $5,000 to $8,000, potentially even more than that. There is zero strings attached to this. I just want to share knowledge, something that many people on YouTube or in general are just not talking about. I've discussed this in some previous videos, but I just wanted to consolidate it and make it crystal clear how you can save a ton of money. With the prices of everything increasing on a regular basis, it becomes more and more critical that we can save money on the most expensive appliance in our home. This video is brought to you by FilterBuy, America's #1 choice for quality, affordable air filters. And Mr. Cool, America's #1 choice for DIY HVAC equipment. Okay, so most people think that the only option in replacing their HVAC system is finding a local contractor and hiring them to do that work, paying whatever their rate is. But another option that a lot of people just don't know about, and not many people are talking about it on YouTube, is purchasing equipment from an online distributor, which we'll discuss the best one that I highly recommend purchasing from, and then having a contractor install said equipment. So whether you are a DIYer or you're just looking to replace your system on a cheaper level than what the local contractors are quoting you, this video is for you both. So let's start with the DIYers. If you have mechanical knowledge, you feel confident about replacing your system, working with refrigerant, let's be honest, it's not rocket science, but some people want to do that and others do not, which is totally understandable. But if you're in that DIY group, the potential savings is actually closer to probably $10,000 that you can keep in your pocket. It's absolutely absurd how much money you can save here. But on the other hand, the ones that don't want to physically do the work, you can still save, again, that same amount, $5,000 to $8,000 just on the labor end and the markup that local contractors charge on the equipment. So the first thing that I recommend doing if you are not planning to do this work yourself is find a local contractor and ask them if they will install this equipment that you have shipped directly to your door. Get a labor price, that way you know what that is, and then you can combine that with your equipment price and that will give you your total. Now, if they don't want to register it for the 10-year warranty, we actually offer that service at patreon.com/DIY HVAC Guy. For $400, we give you a month-long use of support, remote support, whatever HVAC questions you might have. And included in that is registering your equipment for the full 10-year warranty. So even if they don't want to register your equipment, you can still get it registered and have that full 10-year warranty. Now, the only reason I bring this up is because the last thing you want is to have equipment sent to your house and then you have no one to install it and you're kind of stuck in a weird position. So just make sure you have a contractor in mind that's already agreed to do the work and then order the equipment. Now, with that being said, we need to find the correct equipment, find out what SEER rating we want, all of that good stuff. And the best spot to do that is alpinehomeair.com. Now, you may have remembered in past videos that I would recommend HVAC Direct, but since then I've been recommending alpinehomeair.com. There are so many reasons why you should go with alpinehomeair.com instead of HVAC Direct. I had some bad experiences with them, and Alpine Home Air really focuses on the customer experience. Their customer support is next level, and they also have some really cool tools on their website that we'll get into here in just a second. Okay, so let's walk you through from start to finish on getting your HVAC system replaced going this route. So let's say you can't see anything on your AC unit, you don't know what size it is, maybe the numbers are all worn off, and you want to just see what size is proper for your house. Alpine Home Air has an excellent tool right here that will help you determine what the correct equipment is. So let's say we have a 1,200 square foot home, we have a basement, it's a single level, the insulation is moderate. These are the temperatures we want to run it in the summer and the winter time, and right here it will spit out the size that you need. Alpine also has this really cool option where you can send pictures of your equipment and they will specifically go over the images and information that you've given them and size the equipment properly, which is a super cool tool that a lot of other companies or online distributors don't even offer. So as you can see, we need a 2.5 ton system for cooling and a 40,000 BTU furnace. So if we were to go to the search bar and type in 2.5 ton 40K, we would end up with these results. And then if we go to the filter, we can then select AC, furnace, and coil, which will give us 66 results here. So as we scroll through right here, we see a 2.5 ton 45K 80% 16 SEER, so a pretty high SEER rating. And this unit is $3,300. So if that's the option we want to go with, we would add that to our cart. And then as you can see here, we can even get a lift gate at checkout so we can have that pallet put wherever we want and it'll be ready to install. Now I've ordered some equipment from Alpine Home Air and it has always come in great shape. I have not a single time had anything damaged. They really make sure that everything is packaged and palletized really well so that it doesn't get any damage. Now, when you pick the system out here on alpinehomeair.com, one thing you want to be mindful of is making sure that the width and the orientation is correct for your application. Now, sometimes having some remote help is warranted, even if you have to spend that $400 for a single month. I've helped dozens of people match their equipment, make sure they get the right stuff, and then at the end of the month, they'll just cancel the membership, no problem. So if you have a 17-inch furnace, you want to just make sure that on the listing, it matches with that 17 width. If it's a 14, just make sure it matches. And then something you can also do is, let's say you have a 21-inch wide furnace and you want to make it smaller so that you can accommodate a larger filter rack. A lot of times you can match the BTUs, get it in a smaller housing, and then you can add a 4-inch filter rack for improved air quality, filtration, and being able to run that air filter for a lot longer. So that's just a few things you can keep in mind when purchasing your HVAC equipment. Now, in terms of SEER rating, 13 SEER is considered like your standard SEER rating. So that's gonna be your standard efficiency. 14, 15, 16, those are all considered higher efficiency. And that's gonna save you a lot of money if you're going from a standard 13 up to a 16 SEER. One other really cool thing about alpinehomeair.com is they offer these little copper stubs. And in helping a lot of people to replace their system, they found that they just needed a little section of copper, maybe a 3/4 or 7/8 copper stub. And a lot of times they ended up having to buy a whole roll just for a little piece. So it's really cool that they sell these little stubs so that you can get your refrigerant piping all connected. They also sell these starter kits that have a bunch of different items, including the copper fittings, everything that you'll need to install your system. Now, since we're talking about it, a lot of people are scared off by the refrigerant piping, brazing, using a flame, but the reality is that Stay Bright 8 is something that any DIYer should be able to know how to use. It's extremely easy. You just have a MAP gas or a propane gas torch, just a regular handheld one, and you have your flux and your soft solder, and this stuff is extremely strong. The tensile strength is 10,000 PSI. I've never had a single leak. As long as it's done properly and you have a nice tight seal on your fittings, you can totally do all of the brazing as well. And all of the tools that you need for this job, even if you have to spend, say, $500 or $1,000 worth of tools, if you're saving $10,000, $1,000 is a very small price to pay in comparison to $10,000. So in this hypothetical situation, let's say you spent $3,500 on the equipment with shipping and everything to have it sent directly to your door. And then let's say you had a contractor give you a bid for just the labor for $4,000. I've done this several times and I'm able to make $4,000 in one day. So for the contractor, this is very lucrative and any reasonable contractor is going to do it for around that price. Now, most companies here in Utah are gonna range from $10,000 to $15,000. So minimum, you're saving $2,000. Maximum, you're saving like $7,000. And that's if you're paying someone to do the labor. If you're doing this job yourself and you can get the equipment for $3,500 and spend, say, $1,000 in tools, you have just saved yourself a boatload of money. Now, if you're curious where to find those tools for this job, simply go down to the video description right here and you can see a link there that says My Favorite HVAC Tools. Here you can find all of the tools that I use on a regular basis, including all of the nut drivers, the sheet metal cutting tools, the refrigeration tools, pipe benders, everything is in there. So feel free to check it out and you can find all the tools you need right there. Well guys, I hope this video was informative for you and I hope you can save a ton of money by doing this job yourself. If you have any questions about anything, feel free to leave them down in the comments and I'll do my best to answer. Now, if you want to see some of the DIY installations we've done in the past, you can check out a few of those right here. And until next time, you guys be safe. Later.